First of all, thank you so much for having me in this festival. I'm so excited to bring this short film back to life. It had an okay run in its initial festival run, but I want people to see this. I put a lot of work in this, and I think it's really awesome. So I'm so excited that you guys chose this. Thank you. What do I feel is the most important element an actor needs when shooting an action film? I, being a first-time director, needed to rely on the actors. And all I said to them really up front was, this needs to be contained. Even though it's an over the top action film, I don't need the acting to be over the top. And they really took it from there. It was great. They really just kind of led the charge. And on top of that, we were filming on an actual freeway in Los Angeles at 5 and 6 in the morning. So there was already an element of adrenaline. And so it was the adrenaline mixed with, you know, subdued action or subdued acting for an action film, and I think they melded those two pretty well. This was an action movie shot on location on a super busy freeway. So first of all, safety was a number one concern. Then, of course, are you comfortable with shooting in a car? We had two teams and one great assistant director, Eli, who was able to coordinate those two teams. One team was shooting as we were driving along the freeway, and I was make sure I was a driver, so it was in my car, it was safe. It wasn't an actor driving, it was me driving. And so for this, I needed a crew that was adventurous, and even though we took every precaution we could to be safe, I needed them to be a little maybe a little extreme, or I needed them to have fun and go along with the ride and want to do this film. I have a feature in plan, and but I needed to show that, first of all, it could be done, that I could do it, that my team could do it. And so this is just one part. I'm not going to say where in the story, but this is just one part of the full feature. But of course, you shoot a short so that you can prove that you're able to make what will then be a feature. For me, the purpose of this film was to, besides its obvious influence as, and I never say the word, a Transformer film, the purpose of this film for me was to show that cars changing into robots can be cool and not just superfluous. That's pretty much it. I just really liked the idea that I had, and of course Claire Gerety-Mott, who wrote it, brought it to life a little bit better than I could. But the idea was to make a cool action film and a cool but somewhat grounded Transformer film. Not too many cuts in the edit, and of course sound. I'm biased because I'm a musician, composer, and sound person. But you do find that if it sounds good, your audience is going to believe it a lot more, even if it's a fake puppet on a green screen. Which brings me to, were the special effects digital or practical? They were both. The exciting thing about this film is I made an 18-inch puppet. It took me a long time, and I really wish I hadn't done it because it took so long and it drove me crazy at times. But the puppet was shot with three puppeteers, a puppet master and two puppeteers, making this robot move on green screen. And then it was Trevor and Matt who were able to bring it into the film onto our freeway digitally and add in, of course, you integrate the puppet with smoke and, crumbling and everything. So yes, that was an 18-inch puppet shot on green screen, and it was so much fun to shoot that day too. I know to trust in my team. I know, and I say this, I'm a first-time director, but I know how to let people do what they do best and not to step in with that. So not only do I have a full feature in the works and his full storyline in the works, um, the short proves that we can pull it together. And we have kind of a crazy, adventurous crew to do it with. I come from a composer background who just kind of wanted to make an awesome action movie. So for me, I learned that the most important quality in a film director is, again, to let people do what they do. It's not my job to tell the actors how to say it, what to say. It's to say, hey, this is what I feel what I feel the character needs to get in the scene, and you know, maybe dial it down here, maybe say this line a little more serious than you'd think, or something like that. But it's to step back and let the actors and let the crew do what they do best. If I could go back in time and give yourself any advice, what would it be? Not to direct. It's that simple. I'm a composer. I'm not a director. I directed this because it was so specific what had to happen in the film. I didn't think it could be directed by anybody else. But ultimately, that's the advice. I know some directors that will bring this type of film to a new level, somewhere I couldn't even bring it. I feel like I did a good job, of course, but I want a director to also do what they do best. So thank you again for having me, and I love that people are going to see this film, and I am excited for people to, I don't know, see my version of a robot blowing up a freeway.
Oh dear,